Hey, welcome. Um, if we haven't met, my name is Ladijia. I'm a career coach. I work with mid to senior level professionals and I help them land amazing high paying jobs. I also help them navigate their careers, particularly, for growth. All right. So today, very quickly, I want to share with you um, three jobs in tech for non-techies. I mean, I'm not going to do the whole spiel about well, tech is the fastest growing sector because I know you know that already. But more importantly, we live in a digital world, and even traditionally non-tech industries are increasingly getting more and more digitalized, which means more opportunities, right, to do um, valuable work. Okay. And there's a whole plethora of skills that, come with this and that you can learn. And I've discussed this elsewhere, but today in particular, I'm talking to, people who have non-tech backgrounds, who are really interested in working in the tech industry or interested in working in well tech enhanced jobs for want of a better word for it. The first thing I want to say to you is in terms of any kind of change, right? Um, the more incremental it is, the easier it is to make that change. So, I mean, if you're looking to change career, to move into the digital space, I always say the first thing you should do is consider where you are currently with your existing skills, right? For every current career choice or job, right? There's a digital extension or a tech extension. So, for instance, if you were a customer service person, you may want to start to, explore customer success management and learn those related skills. If you're a finance person, there will be something right in your normal, your existing, your current line of work that adding digital skills to will extend and open more opportunities to you. Okay, so having gotten that out of the way, let's talk about okay, so I want a fresh start. I'm not a techie. I don't want to code. I don't want to do data analytics, or rather, I don't want to become a data analyst. I'm not an engineer. What are the choices for me? How do I break into tech? I'm glad you asked. So, without wasting any more time, let me go to the first one. The first option you could try or you could consider is becoming a technical writer. So, what do technical writers do? Oh, yes. Okay, so become a technical writer. Now, before I discuss what technical writers do, the three career or job options I'm discussing today, I've picked them because, of course, you don't need coding or technical skills per se to work in them, but also because they're based on transferable skills, skills that you likely already have and can just, plug and play with a few additions to start these new roles. They are quite in demand, both as traditional job choices, but also as gigs. In putting this together, I did a quick search of all the usual freelance work sites, and there are many opportunities to apply these skills, right? And last but not least, these are a good way to start in tech, and they go up, to other roles. Now, I will just mention a few honorable mention. Of course, you have the most obvious ones breaking into tech sales and business development. And I have another episode addressing this in detail. I will put the link in the box below once we finish. You have areas like digital marketing, product management, project management. But today, I'm looking at the um, um, more straightforward, you know, easier to break into type jobs. So the first one, as I said, was technical writer. Now, what does a technical writer do? A technical writer takes high level technical information and processes, right, and breaks it down into clear, concise, digestible content for a specific, target audience, typically a non-technical audience. So technical writers write stuff like um, software guides, process guides, help files, um, medical procedures, environmental regulations, or some other kind of legal regulations, instructions for computer applications or products, things like that. And the tech writing can include everything from technical writing, as I said, to simple, cheat sheets, data sheets, user information type things. And the demand for this is, increasing by the day, because more and more people are getting their information from digital sources. But beyond even digital sources, a lot of technical writers work with, like, in software houses and other technical firms, where they help to explain products and provide support for products in simple language that users can understand. Okay. And they communicate using various, sometimes it includes illustration even. They communicate using various media, everything from your standard documents to web pages, help files, social media sites, etc. What are the typical roles, right, for technical writing? You have developers, you have content writers, you have documentation specialists, people who write manuals and standard operating procedure, policy writers for insurance, for finance, for just general policies, technical communication specialists, technical illustrators. I mentioned to you that sometimes it includes illustration. Also, technical trainers, people who teach users how to use stuff. They're also technical writers, web writers. There's a wide field, right, of application for technical writing skills. Okay, so what kind of qualifications and experience do you need? Well, employers generally prefer candidates who have a bachelor's degree in some communication related field, journalism, English, or communications. But that doesn't, as long as you have strong communication skills, right? I mean, in my opinion, the type of bachelor degree is irrelevant. But some people will specify, oh, and we want someone from the communication line, right? Many tech writing jobs require both a degree and, knowledge in a specialized field, of course, because again, you're basically taking technical concepts, right, and breaking them down. So you do have to understand and know what you are talking about. So you would need to, really understand the product, understand how a certain type of technology works. For instance, if you're writing for a tech product or firm or group of users, if you're writing regulations, you have to understand the industry for which you are writing. So you do need that kind of, if you're writing for, say, a medical service, you need to have some understanding of medicine, right? To be able to explain it to someone else. So, yes, basic degree, specialized knowledge about the area in which you want to write. Also, because increasingly communication is done online, some web design experience is helpful, right? I'm not saying go and become a website designer, but at least know how to learn how to, and these are easy things to learn how to work with content management systems, type stuff up, on a website, present stuff on a website, etc. Okay, now what kind of skills do we need? Obviously, we need strong communication skills. You can write well. You can also speak well, because sometimes you do videos, right? You can speak well, you can present well. So written, spoken, presented communication has to be like really strong. And if you're a mid to senior level professional, chances are that you already have these skills anyway, because communication skills are fundamental. You need to be able to, you need to have the gift or the skill of breaking down simplifying complex topics, right? You need to have strong analytical skills. You need to be able to learn complex technical stuff quickly, and you have to have, a passion for research, because if you're the information provider, you had better know what all the well, as many of the options are as possible, so that you can inform people properly. Okay, so that's that for technical writing. And there can be technical writing in any field. I will put in some links to more information about the technical writer's career path, links to, let me just check again. I found some free training courses. One that Google put together for developers who need to write about the apps they're developing. It's a very good way to get introduced to tech writing for tech and software. That's one link. Then there's another link by that leads to a free 7-part training course by a very experienced leading technical writer. And as I've said, I've also put in information about the career path for you to learn more about technical writing. These links will be in the comments below this video. Okay, so let me go to the next one. The next one is, let me find it, Tech Recruiter. And of course, this is my field. I love, 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 love this field. And I'm, quite enthusiastic about encouraging people to try this. So you know what recruiting is. A recruiter, finds suitable talent on behalf to fill jobs on behalf of companies, right? And you'd be amazed how hard, despite all the loads of noise around, oh, we're looking for work, you'd be amazed how much of a challenge finding the right kind of talent is. So it is a very valuable skill. But now we're talking more specifically about recruiting for the tech industry, which is what a technical recruiter does. So a technical recruiter, is responsible for finding, interviewing, hiring tech talent. Because as much as generally talent is hard to find, tech talent is especially, difficult to find. And you provide tech recruiting services at a premium, right? So you find candidates to fill technical jobs, such as jobs in IT, engineering, but even like the medical profession, any job that requires like real specialists, there's an opportunity there to be a tech recruiter serving that particular industry or niche. Like the main differentiator really is, what niche do you pick? A tech recruiter picks either a certain type of talent. Say, I would say I specialize in hiring software developers only, or recruiting for a specific industry, because every industry, in the core tech side has talent profiles, certain types of talent that they're constantly looking for. You do need to specialize though, because it is in this specialization that your skills and your differentiation comes. So let's keep exploring. Now, in addition to your regular recruiting skills, a tech recruiter has to have in-depth knowledge of their niche area, the industry or the profession that they specialize in. Okay, so typical roles. Also, what do they do? They create recruiting strategy. They find, various sources of talent. Where can I find people? For instance, where are all the developers, etc. Okay, so um, yes, so I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let me go back. Yeah. So, what kind of job titles would you see for technical recruiters? You see technical recruiter, talent acquisition specialist, IT recruiter, um, information technology recruiter. Those are variations, right? And of course, if it's, for instance, if I specialize in, if I'm a technical recruiter for, say, the medical sciences, yeah, maybe I hire only pharmacists. You will see medical recruiter sometimes, right? So it's a combination of what your area of specialization plus your skills. What kind of qualifications and experience are required um, for tech recruiting? Employers usually prefer um, for recruiters to have a bachelor degree in HR or business or psychology or sociology or a related field. But I don't think anybody has hard and fast rules for recruiters. Now, sometimes there's a bias for, or I'd like someone who has a background in the field for which I am recruiting. Therefore, technical recruiters people hiring technical recruiters may say, oh, does this person have an engineering background? It doesn't always happen because, again, you don't have to be a techie to be an effective recruiter in the tech space. But sometimes those preferences come. What kind of skills do you need to succeed as a recruiter? Well, for one, you have to have really, really strong people skills, right? Because yeah, it's a sales job. You're essentially finding the right people, selling the position to them, and then turning around to present them to the company. So you need to have really strong people management skills, right? You have to have excellent communication skills, strong negotiation skills. You also have to have organizational skills, of course, because you're scheduling interviews, juggling all those things. In terms of proper tech skills, of course, you need to be able to use all the basic um, document applications, MS Office, Google Docs, etc. You need to be able to use, in terms of applications, LinkedIn. You can, and the great thing is you can build the skills quickly. LinkedIn for recruiters, you need to be able to search database effectively. Sometimes that requires some kind of specialized language searches, such as Boolean. You need to be able to use applicant tracking systems. There are many of them out there. There are some free ones that you can just use to understand how it flows. Because at the end of the day, even though there are many ATSs, the back end processes tend to be the same more or less. The biggest area in which you must then skill up is you must have an in-depth knowledge of the area for which you are hiring. If you're hiring for IT, you had better understand, your industry, talent patterns, what a good job looks like for the specific roles you're applying, you're trying to hire for, right? If not, how will you assure the quality of the candidates you put forward? You need to have strong project management skills, and sometimes you might need to use customer relationship management software. These are all skills that you can learn. They don't require coding or engineering or any huge technical, skill pre-knowledge. Okay, so that's it for technical recruiters. Again, I'm sharing some free resources. You will see them in the box below. I'm putting in links for free recruitment certification courses, more career path information so that you can learn more about this career path, get more details, to create your plan. And I also found an interesting resource, a day in the life of a technical recruiter, where a technical recruiter walks you through his day. So check those resources out in the box below. Last but not least, and I really, really, really like this one. This one is community manager. So as things get done more and more online, right? Many brands are making the investment in building online communities, kind of like a tribe of people who use your products, who champion your products, who have an affinity for your company and your product. Communities, I mean, user communities, the first examples of user communities I saw, funny enough, is in the tech industry. You have communities for developers in particular, where they support one another in, giving each other tips as to how to do certain things. One of the biggest and strongest ones, which has now evolved into a veritable, resource for not only developers, but not only learning development tips, but getting resources, is GitHub, right, for developers. But I'm sure that if you think about it, there will be a few more. Apple users, for instance, are a whole tribe and have a strong community on and offline. There, many open source software offer support strictly through user and product development, strictly through user communities. So it's a concept that's being adopted and applied, widely by both small, medium, and large companies. Okay, so let's go to the specifics now. What does a community manager do? A community manager is like a brand manager. A brand is a cross between a brand and a relationship manager. They act as the liaison between an organization or a brand, right, and its audience. They're the voice, the tone, the moderator of the brand through, and they offer, through these communities that bring through community support, content distribution, digital engagement. And what they're doing is they're building brand presence and connection and engagement. And it's primarily online, but sometimes they do offline, engagements as well. Okay, so they engage audiences on a variety of platforms and places, online forums, in social media, on Slack, in-person groups, and what they do is wherever they are users of our products, we want to, reach out there, find them, engage them. We want them to enjoy using the product, easily access resources to make their experience even more enjoyable, give them access to interact with other users. One of the most fascinating examples, right, of online communities I ever engaged with was years ago. There was a series on TV. I don't want to call the series, but it was on TV. And somehow on Twitter, I stumbled into a whole community of people. It was a daily, they had releases every day, who were watching. And so we would watch it together and live tweet. Then I stumbled into the same community, but on Facebook. And this was a community of people, funny enough, right, who they were watching this current series, but they had actually been together for a year or two and watched, they created a corporate viewing experience for everyone interested in different types of series for a popular, I don't want to do advertising for them, but for a known, they're not cable, subscription based channel that specialized in African movies. Anyway, long and short, it blew my mind, right? Because watching the series alone was pleasurable enough, but my goodness, when we now connected and we're watching as a community, I formed friendships there, and that community has stayed together for years, right? The point I was going to make was eventually the company, TV, both the director of the series, but also the company that was hosting the or serving the series to people, right? Took notice of this community, and the community manager engaged with them and helped to drive the experience even more. I just thought it was a very masterful, and that's the job. That's a job I'd love to do. It must be a really enjoyable experience to find people who are passionate and enthusiastic about your products or the experience you're pushing, and engage with them. Okay, so back to, so I was giving a practical example, right, of an online, and it became offline because we also we met offline. We had series closing parties. We had different we were celebrating milestones. In fact, a couple of us got written right into the series. Really, in fact, I will share. I have to do one episode about that experience. Anyway, so community managers, what do they do? They set up and they implement social media and communication campaigns to align with marketing goals, right? They provide engaging content, text, video, graphics for social media accounts. They respond to comments, to customer queries. They engage you online, right? To make sure that at every point where you're reaching out to touch the brand, you get a response, one, and they also drive in, connections with other users. They monitor, the brand online and report on feedback and online reviews. They organize events, offline events, as I mentioned to you. But really, what they're doing is they're building a community and brand awareness. And the people they work with social media managers, marketing, PR, communications, and what they do together is ensure brand consistency, right, and support for reaching marketing goals. Typically the job title you will see is community manager. But I've also seen community development manager as well. What kind of qualifications and experience would you need? Um, a bachelor's degree, but I've also seen where it isn't required. You do have to be extremely passionate about the product, right, or the service that you are championing or you're managing a community for. That's a prerequisite, right? You do have to have strong communication skills, strong social media skills, which can be grown. You have to be able to multitask, you have to be able to work effectively with cross-functional teams, strong PR media, skills as well are desirable, and you will need to grow them. If you don't have them now, it's not a big deal. You do have to grow them. You have to be able to research, but also have a strong interest in trends. So you follow trends, you understand trends, because you have to, kind of be proactive, see the future. If not, how do you drive, engagement and anticipate things for your online community? You have to have very strong influencing skills. So those are some of the skills you will need. You will need hands-on experience with social media management for brands. You should be able to interpret some basic web analytics, interpret web traffic and online customer engagement metrics. You should know online marketing channels. You should have attention to detail, etc. Sometimes people will say, oh, have a BSc marketing, but I don't think it's necessary. Have a great degree, know your social media, be passionate about the product, understand elements of PR and media, and it's a good start. All right, so I mean, that's it about being a community manager. Again, I've put some resources down below if you're interested in exploring further. You have information about the career path. You have Facebook has a great course, right, for community managers. It has some kind of certification. I've put the link there as well. So yes, that's it. I wanted to do a quick run through of of these career options. Now, if you found this useful, don't forget to like um, and to comment, give us feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to put your feedback. But also, don't forget to, I mean, this is streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and it will go up on YouTube as well. So, like the page, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that the next time I have content, I upload content, you see it quickly and you can be the first, right, to enjoy it. Okay, thank you for staying with me, and I'll be back next week. Now, if there are any other professions or jobs that you're interested in information about, just put it there in the comments and I'll be glad to answer your questions. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the week.